know she paying the bills. You know she the one bringing in the money right now. The least you could do is show up. Even G showed up. Even G showed up, and Mia got a whole other man. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 reunion. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 reunion, Part 1. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. I wasn't even going to watch it, but I did, and I was like, I might as well get on here and talk about it. So when we first see people walk in, it starts off with Giselle. And she finds out that she is second seat. That's a big deal because usually Karen and Giselle are always the first seat. So for Giselle to be the second seat this season, it really is saying a lot. I really do feel like Giselle is like one of the main ones that is causing division in this group. The reason why this show is like so hard to watch because everyone is so divided. There's no resolution, and I think it's because Giselle is a big proponent of that. But let me say this, Giselle gave more in this reunion than she has in majority of the other ones that she's been in, so you could tell that she did know that she needed to give something. I feel like that second seat was like a fake warning to her and to the audience to kind of show, yeah, she got a little slap on the wrist, but they still continued to cape for her during this reunion, especially with the editing, and we'll talk about that later. But at least Robin is gone, allegedly. It's looking real bad for Ashley, and I'm not talking about that RuPaul wig, okay? She is sitting at the very end of the couch as a season 1 vet. There's a theory that Ashley has this divorce storyline because he no longer wants to film. And she even said it on camera that he threatened her if he were to ever be featured on the show. So that to me seems like the most plausible. Like, she did say she was, stalling the divorce because she's used to having his money. But what does that have to do with you massaging his feet? It's time for Ashley to go. She has nothing else to give, and if you can't even be honest about your relationship, you might as well keep it moving. You bad as Giselle. And then it was really bad because Andy compared her divorce, like every time we come to these reunions, you keep talking about this divorce, the same way Robin was with that wedding, and you see where they got her. And I just want to mention, Karen is just in a league of her own when it comes to these reunion looks. They just keep getting better and better every year, and that cut she had this year, that was perfect. Her dress, just everything looked good. It came together. I didn't like it in the pictures, but when she was sitting down and she was just, going back and forth with the ladies, I'm like, Karen, you did that. Karen was in a league of her own when it came to fashion. No one was touching her. Okay, so at the top of the reunion, Andy made it clear that he wanted all the women to set their intention to move forward by the end of this reunion. We need to take accountability. And everyone pretty much agreed except for, you guessed it, the Green Eye Bandits, okay? Karen had to literally call their names out individually for them to even respond. Yes, I'm here for accountability. Your accountability. Giselle and Robin think they never do anything wrong. They're always the innocent lambs and victims in the situation. Because Giselle, not only does she take these harsh stances over the tiniest of things, literally, what's her problem with Wendy? Why can't she talk to Wendy again? What's their issue? Because she went off on you and cussed you out? Everybody has gone off on you and cussed you out on this show. But you can't forgive Wendy? Yeah, y'all ain't beating the colorist accusations. But also, she'll hold her stance, but then she'll have her alliance, the people in her alliance, she'll try to force them to isolate the people she doesn't like as well. I can guarantee you she's the main reason why Robin will not make up with Candace and Wendy. She's the main issue. The fact that Wendy and Mia can be cool after that whole situation that went down, because I don't know how Wendy even speaks to Mia to this day. They have real issues and real reasons to not be cool with you, and they still willing to move on. At some point they asked Karen during one of their stupid games about how many partners she's had within the last 5 years. And she was trying to like, oh, I don't know, you know, trying to play around with the idea that she has wet dreams. And Robin was like, no, you just can't keep up with the people that you done slept with. And without a breath, Karen said, no, that would be Juan. Why does Robin come for Karen? Y'all are not on the same level, honey. You cannot handle Karen. I don't know why she constantly tries. You keep getting whacked in the head every single time. And so obviously that brings us to the Juan segment. We all know by now the scandal of Juan getting caught up buying a hotel room for this lady. And then after that scandal went down, you know, he's getting caught up hanging out at the laundromat with one of the coaches that he works with, and then they got caught at the nail salon. Why are you at the nail salon with the coach that you work with? Like, the laundromat, you can kind of explain. Maybe y'all were washing the jerseys, okay? But why y'all at the nail salon? Anyway, so he just has a very extensive history of cheating, even outside of that. That's the whole reason why Robin divorced this man in the first place, because of his philandering ways. Now, see, I've been watching since season 1, and I feel like a lot of people have not, so they don't know like the full history of all of this. But girl, this man, you know, he's known for cheating. So for you to be sitting up here believing all these crazy lies he's telling you, we know you ain't that stupid. When she wanted to see the little text thread that happened between him and the woman, he claimed he deleted it because he doesn't like clutter on his phone. Come on, Robin. Like, I feel like a teenage boy could come up with a better excuse than that. So even her closest friends tried to get her to open up about the situation, because you know it's hurtful, especially the way that he handles it. He tends to take out all of his frustration out on her. Why were you buying the hotel room? Robin, I told you, I'm just a nice person. That's the only thing I'm guilty of being a nice person. Like, he goes in on her when he's the one in the wrong. Because regardless of whether you was in the hotel with that woman or not, you are was he married at the time? At least engaged man. And you did it behind her back. At the very least, you was wrong for that. In turn, she'll receive all of it. She won't say a mumbling word back to Juan. But when anybody asks her a simple question about the situation with him, she has all the bass in her voice. She want to stand up, wave her hands around, go out. What else do you want from me? You need to be giving that same energy to Juan. And then on top of all that, this drama came out, and she had the nerve to hide it when she was filming, but then she decided to talk about it on her podcast behind a paywall. And I feel like that was a fireable offense, because you are on a reality show. You're constantly pointing the finger to everybody else in the room. What's going on with your marriage? What's going on with this? What's going on with this behind the scenes? And telling people that they're not being open and honest. And this is what you do? Because for some reason, Giselle and Robin think they have special privileges in this group. And I wonder why. Andy did ask her about the cheating. Do you think Juan has cheated on you? And she was like, I can't say anything for certain. Just like no one else here can say that about their spouse. But nobody else up on this stage has the type of receipts your man had. So don't try to flip this on us. So then he asked the rest of the room who actually believes Juan and his ridiculous excuses. And it's so sad, because the whole room was like, nobody believes her. Like, nobody, not even people in her alliance agree. They was just like, well, she believe it, I'll go along with that. It's so sad, because you know Robin is not this dumb. But she's playing dumb, and she feels like everyone else should play dumb. I'm not going along with that just because you are. Once again, Juan is not showing up to a reunion. Juan has not been to a reunion since season 3. Okay, and he had a little attitude when he was there that time. I think the last time was when he had that hot mic moment where he was talking about how he was only with Juan because of the kids and he really just wanted to move on. He ain't been back since. And to me, that's very cowardly. And you should stand behind your wife while she's sitting up here fighting every battle, looking stupid, taking every stray bullet that's coming at her to protect your name. You can't even come up here and cover her like a good husband would. That's the very least you could do after everything you put her through. Andy was just like, well, he ain't got no job, so we know he ain't got no game. So why is he not coming? She was like, he did elect not to come tonight. And they even pointed to Ashley like, Yeah, Michael didn't come to a lot of reunions, but he showed up when he had this cheating scandal out. People keep trying to hold a mirror up to her and show her how crazy she looks. And she just keeps saying, no, it's fine. He didn't show up. It's fine. It's fine. And it's like, no, it's not. Girl, this is affecting your job. Do you not know you the breadwinner? And that's another reason why Juan is trash for not showing up. You know she paying the bills. You know she the one bringing in the money right now. The least you could do is show up. It couldn't be for more than a couple of hours. Come up and take the bullets so y'all can keep y'all check. Even G showed up. Even G showed up and Mia got a whole other man. I really think that Robin probably would still have her job if he would have showed up to that reunion. As much as they let her slide, but the way she was trying to brush off the fact that he wasn't there and then he didn't show up altogether, I think that was kind of like the nail in the coffin for her. Give us a Mia and Gordon moment in the kitchen where y'all are just being 100% real about y'all relationship. Y'all can't do that because you want to fake in front and you want to pretend like you happy. I know you are miserable in that house with that man, and I know he miserable with you because the way he talked to you is crazy. He has no respect for you. You know, they brought up the fact that she always demands to know everybody else's business, but then you want to hide your own when it's time for you to put your own business out there and be honest, transparent, and upfront. And, you know, Candace was the main one saying this to her. And she was like, when have I ever done that? And she told her, you try to put Karen out there for cheating on Ray. And she was like, well, I only said that because Karen started with me first. Okay, well, what about when Candace didn't want to talk about this lawsuit with Michael and you kept pushing and pushing like, well, what can we talk about and what can't we talk about? You know what I'm saying? Like, you do that all the time, even though you have things that you're trying to hide and that you don't want to talk about. It's hypocritical. And also the lack of flashbacks. Y'all love to produce, and I'm talking to the editors of Real Housewives of Potomac. Y'all love to produce a flashback of Candace, of Wendy, of Karen, to show them in a hypocritical moment or to prove them wrong in a situation. There is plenty of receipts and proof in the footage for when Giselle was wrong, when Robin was wrong. How come we never see those? Because it's really insulting to the viewer, especially people who have been watching since day one. And we remember exactly what happened and how it happened. That's why the show is going under. That's why the numbers are getting so low. That's why y'all are having to do a shakeup right now, because y'all don't want to actually hold the people accountable that need to be held accountable. Because the show could be a lot better if y'all would expose Giselle the way she needed to be, but that's your golden child, and we can see that. But she also running the show straight into the ground. Andy asked her, why just not get ahead of it? Because you said that you were waiting on Karen to bring it out, but why not just bring it out yourself? And Karen was like, yeah, like I did with my tax issues or Ray's tax issues. I had the little fake press conference so I could put my narrative out first, pretty much. She was just like, well, yours was in the paper. Her and Giselle, yours was in the paper. She was like, and yours was in the credit card papers. I think the credit card papers are a little bit more important than the New York Times. You need to be checking Juan on that. I was like, girl. And Robin be on mute every time. I don't know why she come for Karen. So then, you know, by the end of that segment, she was like, well, we need to give Juan a 2-hour special since y'all are so interested. And it's like, I know she was joking, but that felt a little insubordinate to me to be saying that in the presence of your boss. She just didn't understand how much she was playing with fire at this reunion. That just shows how cocky and comfortable she was in her position when it was shaky. So then we talk about the blogger feud. And y'all, this is where I roll my eyes at both of them. Why are y'all even in communications with bloggers? Just corny and lame to me. But apparently Robin was sharing personal information about Candace and specifically Giselle to this particular blogger, and so she pulled out these huge poster boards with the text blown up. And can we please start with the props? They almost always fall flat. You just look clumsy pulling it out. It's cringy because no one really cares about the receipts that they pulling out in the first place. And I don't know, I just hate them. But she was showing proof of basically Robin talking behind Giselle's back. And, you know, during the season, Giselle said that Juan went off on her and raised his voice and she didn't like that. And Robin had filmed the conversation and she was debating with the blogger whether or not she wanted to put it out. And I'm like, that's a little Now, Giselle ain't never going to let Candace see her sweat. And so I do feel like her and Robin have talked about this already behind the scenes, but that was a little shady. For your friend to be talking about bloggers and like, well, I'm going to put out the footage showing that she lied. And that's supposed to be your friend. Even if she really was mad at Robin, she would never say it because it would give Candace the one up. Candace still believes that Robin was a part of targeting Chris. And let's be honest, let's be real, let's break it down because I never really got a chance to sit here and talk about it. That was an organized attack. The same way season 5, they all got together and decided they wanted to put out that rumor Monique was cheating with her trainer and that youngest child possibly wasn't her husband's. I guarantee you that's the same way they allegedly get together and decide, well, this is who we're coming for this season. Because why did everybody all of a sudden have a story? Why did Ashley say, oh, well, he slid in my DMs when he was literally just responding to a story? They tried to twist it to fit their narrative. Mia said, oh, he was flirting with me too. They brought Sesame Street in to say Happy Eddie and say, I forgot which one of them said that he had touched on her, but I feel like that was Giselle. Y'all let me know. Allegedly, I think it was Giselle who said that Chris touched on her butt or something like that. And then Robin during the season was supposedly on Candace's side, but then at the reunion she was like, can we all just agree that a married man shouldn't be in a hotel room with another woman? I'm completely in agreement with Candace. I do think she was completely in cahoots with the whole thing, and she was probably just playing devil's advocate because she knew her tea possibly could have came out and she wanted to keep eyes on them. Candace is not stupid, and I feel like we all can read between the lines with that. So then, okay, so then Andy asked Candace, what do you need from Robin to move forward? And this is where she begins becoming emotional. And whether you're truly being emotional or not, why? Why are you getting emotional over Robin? And she don't care nothing about you. The same way Juan treats Robin is the same treatment that you're getting from her. And it's like you keep running back and begging for more. Why do you care that much? So she starts, oh, hand me a tissue. Oh, I'm about to cry. And Giselle starts laughing. Oh, she's about to cry. Here comes the tears. Oh, it was so juvenile, y'all. And that's all she could do for revenge to Candace, because she can't go one-on-one in a sparring match. She's going to get you every single time. You're just not witty enough. You just don't have the reads to beat Candace in that. So she has to always do the kick you while you're down type of move. Very, very much a mean girl at the lunch table type of thing. Regina George, if you will. And even Andy had to call her out for being mean and nasty in that moment. Like, regardless of the situation, if she's crying, you laughing, it didn't bother me as much as it bothered a lot of people I saw online, but it still was just like so uncalled for. I thought it was more so petty than anything. With their whole dynamic, I feel like Giselle is Queen Bee. Robin is her sidekick. Candace is like the unpopular girl in school who finally gets attention from the popular girls. Thought that they were her friend throughout that whole Monique situation. They had her back. Really, they were using her because that fit the target they had on Monique to try to get her out. So they used her, and she thought they were really her friends, especially Robin. She became emotionally attached to her because she believed in their friendship, but she just didn't know they secretly had a burn book on you. So now she lashes out at them in a really harsh way because pretty much they emotionally manipulated her. And I feel like she realizes that with Giselle, especially after how hard she came at her husband. But I think she's still in denial about that with Robin for whatever reason. Why, I don't know why she's still holding on to that. And Robin made the only good point she had in the reunion. Why would you want to be friends with someone that you think plotted on your husband? And I think that's what everybody at home is thinking too. Like, why do you even want to be friends with her? Why are you even letting her see you choke up over your relationship? because really it's so embarrassing at this point. We move on to Karen's segment. Karen does admit to having a facelift, and I have to say it looks amazing. It looks good. She really does look refreshed. Karen is 60 years old. She looks really, really good. Body banging. But you just need to stop there. Please don't go any further. I feel like if you do one more thing, you're gonna start looking real cartoonish. So they start complaining about how she rides the fence, and I have to admit, Karen does ride the fence, and she calls it neutral, but I feel like she definitely plays both sides. But I also feel like she is kind of like the nucleus. I feel like if she didn't play that role, then she wouldn't be able to bring everybody together when need be. And I also feel like she's doing that because she saw Giselle and Robin trying to isolate Wendy and Candace, and she was trying to do everything in her power not to let that happen. And I appreciate that. Giselle is mad because she just didn't fall into the Mean Girl Clique alliance. Then she starts to blame Candace for the threats that she gets online. And let's be clear, I don't think anybody on this show has experienced more hate than Candace. It got really ugly season 5, and season 6 too. Like, people were constantly threatening to beat up Candace. I don't know about death threats, but I do know in general, Candace was getting threatened. I saw it all the time. I saw men doing reviews on the show threatening to beat up Candace. But how you gonna be more mad at Candace than the people actually sending the threads? You need to be getting the police on that. You need to be seeing their IP addresses and things like that. There are things you can do to, you know, to get those people reprimanded instead of coming for Candace. And they tried to say, well, it's because she was liking tweets about it online, and the only tweet they brought up had nothing to do with death threats. It had everything to do with colorism. So y'all can't even produce receipts on that. I do think it's dangerous, like she said. I think it's dangerous to say that Candace is the reason why you were getting that, when you had colorist allegations before Candace even opened her mouth about that. I feel like that's something very recent that Candace was willing to even acknowledge on the show, because everybody was tiptoeing around it. And then she ran down all the names that Candace called her: imp, devil, evil, raggedy. Candace was like, all true. And it's like, I don't know what you expect from this woman after you ran her husband's name through the mud all last season. You and all of your friends. I don't know what you expect from her after that. She's not going to have many nice things to say about you. And honestly, you would never last on a show like Real Housewives of Atlanta. You thought Monique was bad bringing in your boyfriend's ex-wife. So she keeps bringing up how she talks about Giselle all the time on Twitter. Candace be talking about the show. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she has every right to say whatever she says about Giselle, because you came for her husband. And she said, well, you talked about me on your podcast. And she was like, well, we only did that one time. And it's like, that's one time too many, after you kept your foot on his neck and kept his name in your mouth all last season. What do you mean? Robin decides to open her big mouth and brought up the situation with that woman claiming to be Chris's mistress. And that has long been proven to be fake. The woman admitted to lying. And it's like, this is the audacity we talking about. But Juan over here at the laundromat and at the nail salon, you just Stevie Wonder with that one, huh? Yeah, I see why you ain't got your job no more. So Andy was like, look, I need both of y'all to own up to at least one thing. Giselle was like, well, I already addressed this, but the sneaky link thing, I was wrong for that. I apologize for that. And he was like, that was last year. What do you apologize for this year? This woman is a narcissist. She don't think she does anything wrong. Candace was like, you accused him of SA. And y'all, I'm not saying the word because I don't want to get demonetized. But she kept saying SA. And she was saying that because Giselle said in her confessional that he made her go to a hotel room. And, you know, they even asked NECA, you know, she's a lawyer. At first they asked Wendy. It's like, why are you asking Wendy about a law question? But they asked NECA and she was like, I don't think that would be assault. And I don't think that would be assault either, because he didn't actually put his hands on her in this situation, I think what Giselle was trying to imply would fall more into the category of sexual harassment. Her story has changed so many times to fit the narrative. That's what I mean by they're not playing the right clips. They're not playing the flashbacks on Giselle that she deserves, because her story has changed from Watch What Happens Live to what she said on the show to what she said to Candace's face. And she tried to lie. Well, I never said he forced me in the room. I never said that. I never said that. And then Andy was like, oh, but they're telling me, but you did. At least they played that clip of her saying that he made her go in that room, because I'm glad she got exposed on that. It shows how quick she is to lie. And honestly, when she first told Candace, she was grinning from ear to ear. She knew what this story was about to do. And it was very evil and nasty. This man lost his job because of that. This could have permanently scarred his reputation, and in turn mess up Candace's as well, because she's married to him. Yeah, ain't no coming back from that. After you do that to my husband, we ain't never gonna be cool. Like, I don't even know if we can be on a high and by basis, because whatever I say to you, you could take it and twist it and ruin my life with it. Wendy turned to Candace and was like, can you take accountability for one thing? So she did turn around and say sorry for telling Giselle she looked like a white woman. I'm sorry. I don't think she had to apologize for that. And then she also apologized for the death threats. Even though she feels like she's not at fault, but she just offered her apology, I guess. I'm glad Candace is leaving. Some people think that Candace was fired. I don't think so. I think if Candace was fired, she would have left on a bitter note. Candace is not above running her mouth, even about anything at Bravo, okay? And I do feel like she left for a reason, and maybe she does want to have a baby. I don't know, but I'm glad she left, because the gaslighting, I could never. I don't know how she dealt with that, for real. And I'm not even saying Candace was 100% right in every situation. She does get on my nerves in certain points, but when we see facts are facts and they keep offering up alternative facts. So then we get back to Robin and Karen, and Andy asked Robin to say 3 nice things about Karen. She said she's witty, she looks great, and she's a good mother. And he asked Karen the same thing, and she was like, well, she's a good friend to Giselle. That's some nice nasty shade. Karen know how to throw that nice nasty shade. And she was like, I do feel like she's intelligent, and she's very strategic with the woe is me cries, but she's overall a nice person. And then, you know, Robin can never take when someone gives her any sort of criticism. So she was like, would you be okay if someone was talking about you online, talking about Candace once again? And Karen was saying, yes, I've dealt with worse than that on this show. She's been accused several times of cheating on Ray. Not to mention where Giselle had Uncle Ben going to jail on the back of her shirt. Like, come on now. I feel like Karen definitely has gotten it pretty bad on this show. But she has been able to still forgive everybody. Y'all the only one holding grudges and being bitter. But Robin still claims that she's not able to be objective when it comes to her. And she was like, well, you're so back and forth on everything. First it's the boombox on the table. Then it's forcing others to tell their story. Then you over here crying on the curb. You got to give me something to work with. Karen was on fire. When I tell you Karen was on fire, Karen almost made me want to stand, okay? Except for this whole situation with the DUI. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I wonder how she's going to spend that next season. I can't get behind that, y'all. I can't. I need for her to be on her hands and knees, humble, begging for forgiveness, because you really, not only could you have hurt yourself, you really could have hurt somebody else. That ain't nothing to play with. But, and you're 60. You're too old to be doing that. And then didn't want to take accountability. Oh, I was crying over my mama. So then we get to Mia. We see Mia in her dressing room. And G is in there. And the next thing you know, she gets a FaceTime call from her boo. Yeah, that boo. The one she was cheating on Gordon with the whole time. Pops up on her phone. And they speak to each other. Nasty work. What part of the game is that? That is wild. Mia, you are a whole pimp out here. What is going on? I cannot. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I was entertained. Mia's a liar. We know Mia be lying. But when she gets caught, at least she'll admit to it, okay? When people confront her with the things she's done wrong, at least she'll just own it. Okay, I can appreciate that. I still, something about her is a little off to me, but I have to admit that first chair, well deserved. She's the only one that gave anything this season. Apparently they had been having problems, and you know, she been wanting to divorce G, but when she was looking to get a lawyer, he emptied out her bank account. Financial abuse, anybody? Like, that's wild. And then Karen exposed her for cheating on G. She had the tea right, she just had the profession wrong, because she said with a rapper and it's a radio personality. I guess once Mia decided that she was done for real, Gordon reached out to Wendy's husband and, you know, some of the other men to expose her. You know, eventually we did find out that he did give her a pass after he had cancer, and, you know, he's older, and he said on his 70th birthday he gave her a pass to, I guess, talk to other men. And his only parameters were that she had to be discreet and it should not be around the children. And she broke both of those, baby, and then twisted the knife by messing around with the same guy that she pretty much was seeing before, during, and after their marriage. I ain't gonna lie, G ate her up when she was like, that's not fair. He was like, you want fair? Go to a carnival. That's an old school read right there. But anyway, current day, it turns out she has her own place. He has his own place. She talks about the guy that she's with. They were high school sweethearts. They went to prom together and everything. They had an old school picture back in the day. And the reason why they initially broke up was because of the distance. They couldn't handle being long distance. They did end up rekindling one time. I'm guessing they messed around one time while she was still married to G. And so now that's why Wendy brought up the fact that G told her husband that Ink tried to come get the child that she shares with G because he thinks that's his child. And G confirmed it. A lot of people are mad that Wendy brought that up, but it needed to be brought up, okay? Especially you spreading around. He said it online already. It needed to be addressed. I'm sure Andy was going to ask at some point because it was said during the season as well. I never thought I would be this entertained by Mia. I'm very shocked, but y'all let me know what y'all think about this reunion down below. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.